This week on Life on Jupiter, we check out and set sail 650 miles to the Bahamas. And don't miss our new feature, Sundowners.
So there are plenty of disabled sailors out there. So we got a bit of spare time while we're waiting for the PCR test to come back. It's been 2 days already for me. Princess got hers yesterday. Hopefully today. So we're going to make drink holders. The trouble with any store-bought drink holder is they're so weak and too small. We've got our SodaStream bottles, which are, this fat. That's what we drink from. They don't fit in the commercial made drink holder or can holder. And now cans these days have become so skinny, it's ridiculous. Anyway, just a bit of PVC joiner pipe from the hardware. I think it was $1.95. And a bit of scrap plastic I had, which I'm just going to glue a base on there so the cans don't fall through. And then just glue it to the bulkhead. So finally the day has come. We have our health visa from both of us now from Bahamas. Today's the 5th day since our PCR. We're supposed to be arriving Bahamas today. But there is a special note that we can be longer than a 5-day window as long as we prove we didn't stop anywhere else. So hopefully that'll cover us. Yeah, I had to ring up Bahamas today and say, can I please have my health visa? And 5 minutes later they emailed it, so good. Now I've just got to go check out. I took the dinghy up to go check out just before, but it's lunch break for 2 hours on the French side, so I have to go back again in about 20 minutes. They will open. So we got the boat pretty much ready, all the safety gears out, ready to go. The forecast looking good, 15, maybe 20 knots for the next 4 days. And yeah, all like dead downwind, which is not ideal, but it's better than dead upwind, isn't it? So. Lucky we're taking it down. I think it would have disappeared if we didn't.
Goodbye, St. Martin.
Thank you, France Islands, for being so easy and having yummy bread. good to be moving again. I mean, we're only here less than a month, maybe 3 weeks. But it was a week longer than we expected because of the bureaucracy, etc. But the wind's been great and it's forecast to be lovely, 15 knots all the way. That's what we got now. So we just put one reef in from the main for the evening, just in case. Sitting on about 9 knots. And it's just a bit too strong to put the screecher out. We'll do that in the daytime anyway. So we're looking forward to our first night. No moon tonight really, or a little sliver. Anyway, can't have everything. But it feels good to be free.
From St. Martin to the most southern of the Bahama Islands, Great Inagua, straight line distance is about 630 miles. However, there is a dogleg around the British Virgin Isles, so let's call it 650 miles.
Well, we had a good first night at sea on the way to the Bahamas. We passed the British Virgin Islands over that way, and Puerto Rico is coming up on our port beam later today. The wind's turned right on the stern almost. And of course we can't fly the sails that way very well, so we have to turn right 20 degrees just to get a bit of airflow into the screecher. So it's a bit slow going. We're doing 7 knots, maybe 8. But it's pretty comfy. I'm about due for some sleep though. I let Princess flake out there most of the night. I think this is the first time I've ever goose winged the screecher. In about 15 knots of wind directly downwind, of course. It seems to be working. It's fairly stable. So because we're running dead downwind, we are very close to a jibe. So I have 2 preventers on. Show you. This is one preventer here and one going forward. Now one trouble with this rig, which is very typical of catamarans, is the aft shrouds, which means you can't ease out the boom very far at all. Otherwise you're going to have a lot of chafe on the batten pockets. So the boom only comes out to about that quarter. That's as far as I let it, just to reduce the chafe, which means we're very close to a jibe all the time. Hence the preventers. But the goose wing is sitting pretty well, pretty stable.
To further reduce the risk of jibe and chafe, I ended up dropping the mainsail completely and just running on goose wing double headsails. This actually worked really nicely.
coming up to our second evening. We did a pretty good day, I think about 200 miles, I think, in the last 24 hours. And another 2.5 days to go. So we're probably going to arrive around midnight on Tuesday. Oh well, can't be helped. Fairly simple approach to Matthew Town. We'll just anchor in the shallows. The moon will be up. It'll be more than half moon when we arrive. So it's a bit of a foreboding feeling, I guess, when night falls on a sailing boat in the middle of the ocean. We're in the Puerto Rico Trench at the moment. It's about 7,000 or 8,000 meters deep. I'm going to check it out, but it must be one of the deepest trenches in the world. Not that we can tell from up here, but it's a thought that counts. So we've been following along the north coast of the Antilles, the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, Dominican, Haiti, is the Puerto Rico Trench. Been noticing some deep depths, you know, 7,000 and 8,000 meters. So I thought I'd look up in our trusty ocean book. And it is actually one of the deepest trenches in the world. It's nearly 9 kilometers deep in the deepest spot. It's 29,000 and a half feet. Say that again. 29,500 feet. That's higher than Mount Everest is. I'll say that again. That's deeper than Mount Everest is high. So that's sort of cool. But you know what? In about 4 hours time, it goes from the deepest ocean in the area, and one of the deepest in the world, to 5-meter bank. It's called, oh, it's on the other chart, but let's go and have a look at the other chart. So this is the Navionics charts. Our track is taking us straight across the middle of this Navidad Bank, which is shown here in the atlas, and it's about, well, I'm guessing 5 miles from the deepest ocean, one of the deepest in the world. So the thing I'm worried about, the bank's deep enough for us. The shallowest is 5.5. Most of it's 20-30 meters, which is fine, of course, for our draft. But to go from such a deep ocean, we've got maybe 2.5 meter, 3 meter swells here, onto this bank. There's likely to be breaking waves. All the energy in the waves here has to go somewhere, and that would be crashing onto this bank. But it's such a big bank. It's 15-20 miles round almost, you know, so we'd have to deviate a long way out of the way, which of course we will, but we're due to arrive there at about 3 p.m. So the sun, it's a nice sunny day now, and I'm just sort of interested in having a look. There's a chance we stay in this 30-meter zone that won't be breaking, but if it does look nasty, we can always turn right, reach up to the north, and then cross once we've passed it. We've had friends say they've either that bank or the next one, which is called Silver Bank. You know, it's lovely to go across it. because you can see the bottom 30 meters deep, and you're sailing through this clear water for hours, just worried about those waves. We'll see when we get a bit closer, I guess. In about 20 minutes we will go from 5,000 meters deep ocean into the Navidad Bank, which is 20 meters up to 30 meters for about a 20-mile circumference. It's quite a big bank. The sea's calmed down a little bit now. It was smaller. It's smaller now than it was this morning, which is good, because I'm a little worried about the waves breaking over on the bank, at least on the windward side. So we're going to take it very carefully as we approach it, make sure there's no breakers. And then I'm expecting we'll be able to see the bottom. This beautiful clean ocean water and 20 or 30 meter deep bank, we should be able to see the bottom. Hey crew, just wanted to have a bit of a chat to you about what we do, I guess, or what I've striven to achieve, which has taken me a long time. Maybe I've been dreaming about going cruising around the world for 25 years. So it's been a long process. I mean, I've had distractions. I had my career, and everyone has their own thing, whether it's their family, perhaps young children going to school, a career, or illness, or anything is a distraction from what you want to ultimately achieve this dream of going cruising around the world. I remember planning this for so long, reading so many books, every book I could get hold of about cruising, and I was pretty bewildered at one point. For a long time I was like, how the hell am I going to be able to afford to do this? How can I stop work? How can I get the boat I need? What is the boat that I need? So anyway, you could easily take a month off work and charter a boat, or even if it was a week. It doesn't make you a cruiser, it just makes you a boat charterer. Even if you are another difference would be, like, if you owned your own boat, and that's fantastic if you do, but you took a month off work and you went to the Bahamas, and enjoyed that, and then sailed back, went back to work. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about full-time cruising, at least for years, at least for a couple of years. Don't have to keep doing it if you don't want to, but how do you go from your job, your family, normal life, car, house, dog, to living on a cruising boat and sailing around the world? How do you get there? I think I've identified there's 4 main things that you need to go cruising. There's possibly 5. The 5th one, and it's not, I don't want to include it really, but it's your health. Whether you're physically able to handle a winch, pull down a sail. So it's almost a given. So let's not talk about health, because that's a given. You're not going to even get in your car if you're not fit to do it. So let's forget about that. So there are 4 things that you need to make
cruising your life. And as I say, this is not a simple thing. It took me 25 years. You know, I didn't. I had other focuses as well. You know, I had my career. So shouldn't take that long. But it might take you 3 or 4 or 5 years. So what are these 4 key things? Well, what I'm going to do is talk about each one in another video. But I'll tell you what they are right now. Money. Yes, of course, you need money. Time. And that's a big one. You know, a lot of people have the money, but they don't have the time. So we'll talk about that in another video too. The right boat. Now, when I say the right boat, all I mean is a seaworthy boat. The rest of it is up to you. Depends on how fast you want to go, how much you want to spend, what sort of level of luxury or comfort. So they're all, those things don't matter. It's the actual seaworthy boat would be number 3. And finally is simply the will to do it. It's quite a big mental step to untie the lines and let go of land and not come back. The will. So I'm going to talk about those 4 different aspects, or those 4 key things that you need to go cruising full time in the next videos. Alright, cheers.
Check out this playlist to learn about the Jupiter², the fantastic Mumby design.